you're looking to just keep that, just cut that root right out. There you got the beard. Then I usually start at the legs, kind of roll around, cut the tendons. Just pops right open. There's a kneecap in the back. You can keep those legs, or keep the spurs. Saw them out, make a pretty necklace for the girlfriend. No names. And start up right by the knob in the middle of their chest. You just kind of pull the skin back. I usually just breast them out. They take up, they're big birds, so you keep the whole carcass.
You're losing hair space, your ass.
Takes up a lot of space in the freezer. So, I'm gonna pull it around, slice down the face of the legs.
So big. Yeah, look, it looks like something happened to it. Otherwise, it would have been big.
Peel the skin back.
Yours just pops up better. You can be the big boy.
Try to get as many of the feathers off. They do have a stink to them. And the greatest pain I can think of would be doing the splits. Make them do that. Slice right down that crease once that thigh bone pops right out of the socket.
What's all the yellow stuff?
Fat.
Oh, looks a lot more yellow than the other one.
Been eating a lot of corn this year.
Yeah. That's the way me or Dad would look if you sliced us open, right? Full of yellow.
I don't doubt it. One would have a little bit more.
Hey, be nice to me now.
Who said we're talking about you? Who said? Yeah. Who said we're talking? Terry's over there like, quit it. Me, Trevor, and Jedi were pure muscle. Jedi, you pure nothing. He's pure
Bones.
Bones hair, skin,
Bones and yellow teeth.
I mean, I would say an eye, but an eye would be like
Leg and thigh
go
bones,
up that.
they're all dark meat. They've got a lot of bones and tendons in. So it's not really, I don't enjoy it when you just grill it by itself on the grill or something. So it's good for boiling, making soup, turkey pot pie, something along those lines.
That's weird. Still really warm.
So where you can kind of cook them so
Mine's warm.
you can pick all those little pin and tendon bones out of it.
There's no mine.
Get to the meat, maybe make some stock
you were trying to give it
since
to me.
you're boiling it with the bones.
Try it. Like fried turkey.
Be a good idea to wash those off and throw them in a freezer bag once you get home. And for the breasts, just kind of cut around that little knob.
Find that bone.
Kind of a
Breast
callus, and there's the main. Weird thing with the wild turkeys, they have this hollow spot right in their breast. So as long as it's not shot up too bad, that's the stuff they use. There's a big air bubble in here that's deflated on this one, but
For the gum.
big air bubble that they thinking it's their what they use to gobble and wobble a little bit. That weird drum noise.
Gobble and wobble.
And as you cut down that sternum into the rib cage, there's a second bone once you clear that. Right here, there's a little bone that sticks out. Just get around that.
Why is this bag's not working?
There's a bone in between the zips,
No, there's not.
or close enough to it. And you just keep pulling away,
I got it.
cutting down until you hit the the skin, get all the tendons taken off. Then you got a big old chunk of breast meat. You want to pick up your pizza? Yes, better be nice. And that guy, I'll cut the muscle strands, or the grain of it goes almost the whole length. So it's real important when you're cooking the barbecued turkey strips. Just cut cross grain on it. Then you can marinate them in a
fried turkey.
One of you boys could spare a little bit of your whiskey. That tenderizes it pretty good. Soy sauce, Italian.
No, I don't think that's sparing.
Italian dressing.
I'm not sparing.
Citric, any type of citric, so like a grapefruit juice. That works well. Let it sit in there. Obviously, the stronger whiskey, don't let it sit too long. If it's grapefruit juice, you can let that marinate for a day. Slice it up. You can grill it that way, kind of barbecued strip style, or you can smoke it. If you wanted to, fully smoke your beard, you can just pluck it and keep the skin on. Take it into your local smoke shop.
So then
there it is. The rest is basically carcass.
Tail.
And then keep that tail. I plucked the bottom tail fan feathers right by the crapper, just so you can see what you're doing. Then if you feel right at the base of the tail, you might be able to see. And there's the tail. My hands our fingers, finger and thumb are pushing hard on it. Same with right there. That's there. So there's just a knob for those tail fans. So get right in between, on the back side of the crapper. Just slowly slice up. And you're gonna come up to the backbone, or the tailbone. Try to split it so you can get kind of right in the joint. And then if you want just the tail fan, you can just slice her off right there. If you gain a little bit of skin on the top side, that's probably good, because then you can really fill in that fan. So you want these feathers as well to come with. But if you want to do a full kind of cape style and get a bunch of these, then they're try to just ride right up the backbone and slice along the sides. And here in a second you'll see it, the pelvic and back make a real flat surface. If you just keep slicing up, you get a nice chunk of skin with all the feathers on it. And you can make a real nice cape and display some of those back feathers that have so much color and iridescence to them. If you didn't shoot it up too bad. So here you can see, here's the spine. So a big flat section right above the pelvic. There you go. Go up a little ways, however long you want that cape to go. Obviously go further than you want. It's easier to trim it than make more. Usually get up to the white meat back up in there. And by then you're kind of hitting some crappy skin or some plain feathers. Then if you want to preserve it, you can take it to your taxidermist, or if you want to stay cheap, just trim as much of that meat off as you can. If you got a lot of blood on the feathers, you can clean that off first. And then you can just cover this with salt and borax until she's nice, dry, and crispy. And really at that point, she's pretty stable as long as it gets all the moisture and fat off of there. This was an old fat bird, so this one might take a fair amount. Might have to scrape it after salt and that kind of thing. It's also a good idea to get You got a nice sharp knife. I like cutting her down so you can see the quills. But you don't want to cut into the quills because they need to hold together. But as you get rid of all the meat off of there, it's a big chunk of meat. And you can see there's a bunch of oily fat, little bone that sticks out in the middle. Just kind of shave that off. And then, even though there's fat in between those quills yet, that'll dry out. Now you can at least get to that fat to soak the moisture out, or suck it out with the salt and borax mixture. If you didn't take that chunk out, she'd spoil after a couple of years and be pretty stinky, make your mom upset.
Then why not?
Well, you do make your mom upset anyway. So.
Just another reason for her to get out of the house.
Yeah.
As long as she doesn't kick you out of the house. Last time I checked, she's on the deed, not you.
Barricade your room.
Yeah.
Take the whole fridge up there and it covers all the food.
No, but just bring a drill, some T25s, and some 2x4s.
You're gonna need some food. The fridge so you can keep it all cold.
I'll just jump out the window and climb back up.
Yeah, and there'll be a little bit of trimming yet with a better knife.
Every day.
Yep.
There's a little bit of meat on the face,
Every now and
so
then
you can kind of cut that off from there. But at that point, you got a nice fan to work with, and that back. Once you get that cleaned off, you get some nice. That's exactly what I did with this one, which is a couple days into drying. There's the salt and borax mixture still doing its job, but you can kind of pin it with some nails. That's a Miriam from a few days ago. So once they're cleaned up, makes a nice cape there. There you
Cool.
go.
Thanks, Charles.
Absolutely.